Hello, friends. I have one thing on my mind today, and that is motorcycles. I know, it's such a common thing to think about when you are a young person living in an apartment in a small city. Motorcycles. And actually, it is a common thing to think about when you are a young person living in an apartment in a small city because I live across the street from some people who live in a house. I think they maybe rent it as a group. It's cool. Whatever. One of them apparently owns a motorcycle, which I did not know until this afternoon when he decided to ride it around the neighborhood. And for the last 45 minutes or so, he has been riding it around the block, around his driveway, up and down the street, and unnecessarily revving the engine a lot. And I know it's necessary to get moving, but unnecessarily, I mean that maybe just don't ride it unless you're gonna ride it further than 40 feet and then turn around. Because some people, like this person right here, have work to do in the afternoon once they are home from their actual work. I am in the process of finishing the second video captions. I am so close. I have like 4 paragraphs left. I've been grinding away at it all afternoon, pretty much, ever since I got home from work. Feeling great about it. I've had like 2 hours of solid work, only a couple of small interruptions. Was feeling really productive. And then that stupid motorcycle started running. And my focus went out the window. So why am I talking about motorcycles? Well, I would say that in general, I have trouble focusing when there are loud noises or sudden noises or constant rhythmic noises that aren't like a nice rhythm. Those things make it very difficult for me to focus in general. And I think part of it is just like a easily distracted person. I think part of it is my Tourette's and the way I react to those types of sounds. A lot of sensory processing issues going on. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that or dealing with it. And so I talk about it. I acknowledge it. It's fine. But when it's out of your control, you can't stop the sound or you can't escape the sound. At some point, it just makes you nuts. And I think that's the point that I'm at right now. I'm just going a little bit nuts. So, I figured I'd make today's video about that. Not just because I am taking a break from editing, but because I think it is a valid thing to talk about. If you have some type of sensory processing issue, I think it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that that makes you weaker or more annoying for other people to deal with, more difficult, more inconvenient for other people. And I constantly have this battle with myself when I have a problem with something like that, because I will ask myself after something bothers me, is this really something that you need to be bothered by? And then I realize no matter what the answer is, it initially bothered me because it was uncomfortable, not because I was just irritated. And I think that's a really big difference between just something that annoys me and something that actually bothers me. And maybe the issue is that I don't differentiate in my reactions between the two. And maybe I need to start working on that. It's a valid thought, it's a valid point that I just came to as I was talking about this. So, sometimes these videos are actually useful for something. And if even one person hears me talking about this, cool, someone has heard me understand a thing about myself. Cool.